Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Conalwork.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we thought we were going to be getting SD2 in April, but Paris has gone back a little bit later than we were hoping for. But don't worry, the open beta cometh, and it cometh soon. So until then, we got to keep going with some more kind of team games going on here with over on the Western Front. And actually, we have a real ripper of a match, a 2v2 on Meredet. And Rang, it's been a long time since we've seen Meredet, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like it comes around like once a month or so, once every 2 months, and it's like, oh look, his map does exist still. Not everything's not Saint Mary-Glise.
Kind of like the Halley's Comet of maps.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to describe it.
But who's duking it out?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have the team called Bump, and they have solo Ring Pixie as second French, and Emma Stone #1, good choice, as Guards Armored. And on the right-hand side, an Axis, we have Gillmore's Lollies. And on his side, he has Loli playing as Paris, and Gillmore's Girlfriend playing as second Panzer. So rather fitting team name, and just once again, this is another match from the 2v2 RU tournament.
Now, we have seen Gilmore's Girlfriend play, and I can definitely speak for agree with you when I say that Emma Stone can definitely be pretty high in that number there. But between Guards and the French, does the whole Anglo-Franco alliance, is that going to do well against the Panzers and the Paris division?
Yeah, I say both of these matchups are pretty fair. Guards Armor does a pretty good job against second Panzer, as they're both pretty big powerhouses. And all of these divisions have really good armor options, so it's definitely going to be a tank battle for sure.
Well, what I am seeing is that we are seeing a couple of mortars coming out early on, so it's nice to see that Paris is not just trying to roll with some, like, spam early. More than that, though, they're going to find themselves having to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4 Stuarts, a Humber, and an M8, not to say that the least of all the attendant infantry and half-track, so it's going to be quite an uphill struggle, I would think, early on.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot of light tanks. You know, the Allies are getting out right off the bat. No Wolverines, no Cromwells, no nothing. It's just Greyhounds and Stewies galore.
Well, and we are going to see the Germans are taking a much more passive, I think, breakout, all things considered. We are going to see both the Blindee and the Guards taking a much more aggressive stance, and I think that makes sense.
Especially for Blindee.
More than that, though, apparently we have the command car leading a one-man charge down the road. Okay, and he decides at the long last that maybe discretion's a better part of valor, and he backs away. So that's a nice thing. But we are getting that Pack 40 with a beautiful, 700, 800 meter distance down that road. Oh, it's just beautiful. Yeah. And the first kills are occurring down to the south of that Panzer IV and that 250H. 258, rather.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Gilmore decides to push. It's usually second Panzer, you try to get that big A-phase push up and going, but it seems like he's been doing like his middle southern area, and really pushing this area is quite tough, because there's a lot of forests that can potentially hide a sneaky peeky AT guns that Panzer IVs don't exactly like being shot at by.
Well, that's certainly true that sneaky peeky tends to be kind of a bad thing to play hide and seeky with. But I think I'm more concerned right now about the P4 and really that armored kind of thrust to the south. Yes, they do have some anti-armor infantry there, and yes, there is a Stuart, but there's Panzer Grenadiers, there's other half-tracks that are going to be masking for that armor. Of course, I say that and that's when the driver gets wounded.
Of course. He's still fighting strongly at Panzer IV. The motorized rifle getting that second Piat shot. Doesn't get the hit, and the Stewies, they smell blood. And they're going right for the P4. And that's going to be a great kill, from Emma Stone.
Well, she slays it in La La Land, what can I say?
And she's slaying it on the battlefield.
She certainly is. Well, then again, she's, is she a natural redhead?
I have no idea.
I was going to say soulless at that point. She's just harsh. No mercy whatsoever. We are going to see... And this is something to make a comment about as usual. That second Panzer does not have infantry-based AT.
Yeah, especially in A-phase. Or Panzer Grenadiers, they left their Panzerfaust at home in the other half-track. So they just come into battle with, some MG42s.
Well, and that's not going to do very well for them. Because you see right now, those Trip Stewies... Now, what's left? Well, we have two very, very beaten-up half-tracks. We have a spa troop that's all by his lonesome.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I mean, there's not much that can be done.
Yeah, your second Panzer, you can't afford to lose your Panzers. They're very good because they have the high veterancy, but you don't get many of them. And now he's really feeling the hurt as Emma Stones is really putting in all the bloody pressure.
Actually, you know who I feel bad for right now is the spa troops. They're just scouts. I mean, they like 5 or 6 different sources of machine gun fire.
Yeah. Not the best position for him to be in, of course.
Of course. Now, looking further on the other sides of the map, to the north, we are going to see a couple of very, very, let's call them what they are, plucky Panzer B1s up really, really to the far north. Not too much going on the northern side of the whole field, but I guess in the center, we are going to see a delicate push still happening. And I think what you said before is completely accurate. Not exactly sure why the Blindee and the guards would say, hey, let's throw ourselves into a forest.
Yeah. It is really taking their time. Nothing really too crazy here. And I think we're going to probably see some Paris bomber spam, because that would definitely save his southern flank.
Well, it might save this flank as much as that Pack 40 being brought on and takes out that first Stuart. And the other Pack 40 still has that beautiful little rinky-dink LOS there.
It's tight. That's real tight.
Unfortunately, he has no attendant infantry to back him up, so watch him get taken out by this one motorized rifle.
Well, he might get the HE shot. He might actually be able to defend himself.
That'd be very, very strange to watch. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
weird.
The Bren gun just, couldn't put down enough suppressive fire.
And those cowards, as they fall back, that's where they're shooting. You cowards. Stand and fight like a man.
Mm-hmm.
To the north, in the meantime, like I said, nothing really going on there. We are going to see some more infantry being brought in, as well as a couple more Stuarts from Emma Stone. And this going legitimately right up the middle. You cannot get more middle than that.
That is extremely middle. Like, proper middle, median mode middle.
That's like social moderate parliament middle.
Yes.
I don't know British. I have no idea about political parties in the UK. So I know UKIP, and that's apparently a bad word to say on a recording, so I won't say it again. But that's it. That's all I got. Panzerjäger, in the meantime, he's going to engage that little Stuart. Oh no, it was a Char. I mean, still a Stuart, but he's going to be pretty charred in a second, I think. And there we go. Yep.
Bang on the money.
Second Panzer, in the meantime, bringing in more half-tracks to kind of, at least if nothing else, give more targets to the southern flank. And it looks like they've stabilized, but at what cost? They're down +1 pretty consistently.
Yeah, they've lost quite a few points and quite a bit of territory. And Guards or Amazon is setting up a pretty nice defensive line along the area they captured. The Axis can probably capture that L-shaped tree line, a motorized rifle in that orchard.
Yep.
They could probably capture that bag pretty easily. But after I think I really have to wait till B phase for 2nd Panzer and both Paris divisions to really come online and try to make some great offensive push.
Well, here's the question. Why don't we see more AFVs in the south? Why are we seeing them all clogged up on these northern forested approaches?
A southern push would be pretty good. It does require like a 1.2 kilometer AT weapon, just as a Pack 40. For example, maybe we'll see something in B phase, maybe with like a Recon Panther down south, because that's a pretty good area for Recon Panther, surprisingly.
I think what I meant more, though, is that if nothing else, why don't we see that from the Allies? They have the cavalry tanks.
Oh, yeah.
They could have lined up 6 or 7 Stuarts, and yeah, you're right. The 1.2 kilometer range is something to deal with, but if you overload with targets, you're fast enough to get in before they get it more than a couple shots off.
Yeah, I mean, both sides could definitely really exploit the southern pushes. There's really nothing there from either side, and that's Stuart, is in a pretty good position to try to get something happening.
Also, I'm watching the P1B engage the Universal Carrier. My first thought is 2 Spandau machine guns firing at it, and still nothing happens.
Germans forgot to bring armor penetration ammo, unfortunately.
Yep.
Imagine being like, you know, German Panzer crewman. You take all your time training and whatnot. You get to the front line. You're just hanging out in Paris for a little bit, and you hear, oh shit, you know, the Allies are coming to Paris, and you're like, all right, boys, we got the tank that we're gonna assign you for the mission. Oh, cool, Commander. What's it gonna be? Well, it's gonna be a Panzer run. Oh.
You can just feel their hearts dropping in their stomach.
Can't we get the Tiger? No. No, you can't get the Tiger. We're sticking you in the Panzer Run, not the Panzer 5. Or Panzer 6, I should say.
Well, that's Wittmann's job. Wittmann's allowed to have the Tiger.
Yeah.
We're going to give it to people who know how to die appropriately.
I'm going to miss these Rickman jokes in SC2, man. I mean, we're still going to have to make him because Michael Rickman is such a good meme, but I'm going to miss not having Rickman in SC2.
Well, unless they migrate that particular division over.
Professor, yeah.
Now, we are going to see these Stuarts are going to finally get themselves some line of sight on that Panzerjäger and definitely take it on out. And with the Panzerschreck going down, that really gets rid of a lot of the threat of that little compound. Yes, the Bavarians are still there, but all they have are those freaking HHL-3s, which don't do a whole lot anything greater than, let's be very, very generous, a softball range.
I know, right? And Stuarts are coming through, and as you can see, Loli is starting to fall back a little bit as he doesn't really have anything there to stop those tanks. And this has really been a great use of light armor from the Allies. This is still a really good map for Stuarts. There's a lot of close range engagements, and just get the cheaper light tanks. They do the job just fine.
They do indeed. Now, we don't often get to say this, but this is probably one of the few German divisions where half-tracks are a real true thing. And frankly, going toe-to-toe with those Guards armored half-tracks, yes, you're not going to win in a straight-up fight with the Stuarts, obviously. But that's the job of the Panzer B2s and, and the Panzerjägers. But I kind of can't help but feel that we should be... Yeah, there we go. We're starting to get a little more active with those 251 Mark 1s. It's about time. Wondering why we weren't seeing a little bit more aggressive play from that.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to be a hard area to take back, as there's just a lot of defensive tree lines that you have to slowly break through one after the other. It's truly hedgerow hell in that center middle area. The center of the middle, or the middle of the center. Take your pick.
That sounds about right. We are going to get a 155 off-map call-in over here from the Allies. I'm kind of curious to see what's coming in the north. Okay, actually, we have an M4A2 moving in. And I cannot help but feel that Solo Wing Pixie. Do you think Solo Wing Pixie is just playing the holding game while his ally kind of makes the pushes to the south?
Yeah, he hasn't really been all that aggressive up north. Like, looking at it, he's been attacking a little bit along like the center compound, but yeah, it's definitely a little bit strange. I would expect a little bit more aggressive A-phase French play, but he's also playing like a more conservative French. That does work surprisingly well.
True. And well, that's the thing. If you're nothing else, you can build up all of your forces over time and then kind of go in one swell poop.
Yeah.
Worth noting in the meantime, other than the Russians coming on in, there was another Stuart that was in the center, and that little rinky-dink Panzerschreck, well, he came, he saw, and he kicked its ass. Bavarians, in the meantime, though, those guys are going to get forced on down, and like you said, that's the major issue. You cannot break through that without a lot of artillery, and the first bit of artillery is coming to the north as we speak. Going after the half-track, going after those Stuarts, and bombing his own troops.
Yeah, of course, it wouldn't be Paris Division without such a thing. I mean, it's such a huge area of effect those bombs cover.
Well, and kind of worse than that, Spitfires and Tempests.
Yeah, they kind of make planes dead. That's a very dead Ju-188.
So, a nice donation of a couple hundred points, and yeah, an investment at long last, a very, very abortive M36 being brought on in.
Yeah, we are seeing the recon for being brought straight up the middle, as well as Ramsk as well. So really seeing the main German armored push is going to be along this middle area. But I agree with the Panzer IV being there, but the Panther, I think it'd probably be a little bit better down south where it can spread its legs a little bit.
Like hugging the southern map, hugging the southern part of it. Put the 233 up front to spot and kind of go from there, right?
Yeah, it'd definitely be the better call, as that Panther is a really risky position, and you cannot afford to lose that Panther in such an area. I mean, that 6-pounder is getting in close, and... Well, yeah, it's a 6-pounder because it's gotcha. But
yep.
yeah. Yep. I don't think that Panther's going to be long for that road if he moves up just a little bit more.
Well, it's certainly not going to be long for this world when you have a 17-pounder a little bit further back engaging him. Horst Ramst, in the meantime, is going to engage some of those half-tracks, and if nothing else, making life a little bit easier for some of those pinned-down Panzer Grenadiers. A good call, my friend. Do you know who Jimmy Parsons is? Or James Parsons? Jim Parsons, the actor?
What's he been in?
Big Bang Theory.
Is he Sheldon?
I believe so. So
okay.
I don't know why. If I'm looking at that picture right now for Horst Ramst, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like the goth version of Jim Parsons. Vespa, in the meantime, going after a 17-pounder, pinning him down, so now the Recon Panther can definitely stretch his legs a little bit more, and I don't know how I've never seen that before. Now. I don't know how
that image.
I don't know how I've never seen that before. Panzer B2 in the center as well. Actually, he's dominating between the ROAs taking out the Stewards. Now I think this compound is going to fall back for the Axis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing there. There's no tanks. There's an M4A3 behind the 76 upgun. But you got to get awfully close, which means the B2 is going to get an awful good amount of firepower there.
Indeed. I want to take your attention up north, as that French are doing that conservative B-phase push, and it is going absolutely well for them. Absolutely well.
Yep, that is B-A-N-A-N-A-S, that's for sure. Today's Spelling Bee brought to you by the word bananas.
Bananas.
I am a little concerned about them trying to go to the east of that ROA to the north. I mean, obviously the joke is, of course, he's going to be DOA pretty quickly. But that P4 is locking down that approach. Mm-hmm. He's got 600 meters out to that intersection, and even the half-track's moving around. That's not going to be enough. Pack track? Yep, and the pack track moving in as well. That's a good call.
Yeah, definitely need some infantry with that Panzer IV position, because, you know, a tank in a town and slows him. You know, I need some infantry friends to give him some more support.
Well, they're just not that confident about their size. They're uneasy about their weight. It's this whole thing. Yeah.
Especially Tiger tanks. They're very uneasy about their weight. Trying to lose a few pounds. I know, right?
I don't know why. I would never shame a tank.
I know.
Unless we're talking about that World War I POS stuff, but that's another monster. It is embarrassing that when the 307 is going to get taken out practically by half tracks. Practically.
Yeah, definitely a little bit risky the way you maneuver with it. If you're that type of thing, you want to be at 1.2 kilometer range and try to never let anything get closer. Now the Panther IV is going to have to defend this entire push by himself.
Well, interesting, we do have that Russian squad. Okay, now it's being taken under fire. Never mind. I was going to be a lot more supportive of that group in just a moment, but that has gone the way of the dodo, practically.
Got Pack 38 in a pretty sneaky position, just south of the town now.
Mm-hmm.
And not the best position for it, but you can get a few shots off at least.
Well, interestingly, again, as well, we're going to see the Shermans try to go further and further down south. I think as they're trying to get a Stuart to come in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But P4 is going to get...
Oh, no. Sherman gets first shot, but not enough to save him.
And the Char is moving in as well. That is a very, very strange call. Yeah, I get it to a certain extent. But if you're going to send in some infantry as well. Like, infantry that is going to do something. And more bombs. Many more bombs.
Panther IV getting freaked out a little bit. Shuri's not going to be longer as effective in this flanking maneuver. And damn, this is a real little tank battle going on. Real tank hunt.
By the way, I missed that Focke-Wulf going around to the center. Actually, I didn't even see that Stug there either. So nice to see the Stug on the field. That's going to give a nice little bit of power to the center part of the field for the Germans. But again, as they constantly been saying, that compound is surrounded by trees.
Yeah.
That's
and
some
the
Sturm
Allies
Grenadiers. Yep.
now have a pretty nice plus 2 point advantage. All really down to solo ring, solo push up north. And I think I've finally seen some motor rifles being brought up here, so that's a pretty easily deal with that Panzer IV threat. And finally some infantry. It took them way too long to get infantry reinforcements up north. Never mind, there are pioneers, but all sappers, and Panzer IV is Panzer not for. Panzer not for living.
I was trying to think of a nice way to go about that. It wasn't working.
I know, right? It's really hard to make Panzer IV puns. Panzer III's, on the other hand, they're just giving those puns out for free, you know?
Well, it's not exactly the Holy Trinity, if you know what I mean, but I understand what you mean. The 76 Up gun decides to show his back to the Panther, and it's one thing zookeepers around the world know, is you never show your back to a big cat.
Mm-hmm.
And he pays for it with his life. And another 188. So Loli's really expending a lot of resources picking up air power, which I get, but I think it's a little bit abortive, and frankly there's all this extra nonsense going after it. A couple of Spitfires, a Tempest. I mean, the 188's probably going to make it out. It's going to be real close, though.
Oh, I don't think so.
He makes it.
Oh, that is clutch.
Oh, ye of little faith. Now, unfortunately, to the north, 2 squads of Russians coming on and being led by the Kriegsmarine Führer. And it's always kind of funny when even the Russians are saying screw it.
Yeah, that sapper's got a perfect ambush on that squad as they came about, so real good play. But still, like, Loli completely just left his northern flank exposed for way too long, and now they're really paying for it.
Usually that's a crime to be exposed on that flank for too long, but I guess not. I'm just watching the Sturm Grenadiers cut a bloody mess through part of this Voltigeur squad on the other side of the tree line. But the Voltigeurs, of course, with green cover, they were doing rather well until just now. And Stoke trading fire with another 76 Up gun. Just to the north of that.
Alright, 17. I think as Panther moves up a little bit closer, it's going to get shot by a 17-pounder, but he's smart enough, and Gillmore is going to back it up. But not back it up enough. The 17-pounder is locked, shot, loaded, and internal fragments.
Well, and now we have these half-tracks saying, "Please kill me! I no longer want to live." Focke-Wulf's going to come in and bomb the smithereens. So, I'm sure air cover might happen, but I somehow doubt the 17-pounder is long for this world either.
Yeah.
Skadoosh. No, interesting. I don't think I've seen any Opel Blitzes being brought in for the Germans at all.
We got run by the Panzerjäger. Wait, is that an Opel Blitz? No, it's a Manliter, my bad.
By the way, Panther A to the south, Panther D to the north. So, either you're a good student or a horrible student. Apparently nothing in between.
No Panther Bs. Really weird naming convention for the Panthers, Con. Like, it's really, really strange. Because they go from Panther D, right? Then they make the Panther A, and then they make the Panther G. What's up with that?
Well, you did see a post recently on the internet that was talking about putting the alphabet back in its kind of phonetic order.
Okay.
So maybe that's what was going on. Maybe they're going for the German version of it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, it's tough to describe, but let's put it this way. Neil deGrasse Tyson, being a big brain, was like, you know what, phonetically, like A, like was first. I don't know. Just the way you say the letters themselves, you put them all in phonetic order. And that's
okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. Either you see it, or... Yeah. In the center part of the map, the Germans were able to push back a little bit, but once again, all of those half-tracks, I can't help but feel that the half-tracks just give way too much firepower over here to the Allies. Yeah,
especially Guards Armored, like, their real, like, claim to fame, I'd say, is just the amount of bloody half-tracks you can get, because you get a discount on those M5 half-tracks. And your infantry is already pretty, like, cheap to begin with, so it's a really lovely combination, as you can see. And the Germans just don't have enough other light vehicles and whatnot to really deal with them. They got a lot of heavier tanks on the field and medium tanks, but Not enough, you know, just like autocannons or other smaller things that are good at picking off tracks.
Well, I was looking at the north, and we were seeing that the Germans are scraping their way back through the town.
Mm-hmm.
But when sending Länderschützen to do Russians' jobs, so you get Länderschützen results. I also had a couple planes coming in from the south, as well as the north. Another 188, I almost guarantee is going to die. There's too much ground. It's like he's going to go at least smoking at least.
Yeah, I think he's going to get out, yo.
Huh. That's just weird for me. I'm surprised. Bazooka, in the meantime, waiting for that Panther D to come a little bit closer, and my heart will break. Any second.
Same with the Panther's armor. If the Panther moves up, that is. Oh, I mean, that bazooka's probably...
He's in range.
I know. Oh, he is. Oh, God. He just needs to...
Yeah.
Just needs to move up just a little bit, you know, just fire that shot.
Please don't encourage him. 188 is coming out of... Actually, oh my gosh. The SD2 carpet bombs. The ones that had 96 bombs around it.
Oh, yeah.
So many bombs to the point he didn't even drop them all on the way through. He's got 8 bombs still left in the bomb bay.
I was really confused for a second. Like, is he dropping copies of Seal Division 2? But then I realised, oh, that's the name of the actual bombs.
Boo.
SD2s.
Boo.
No, like, legit, I was really confused for a second. Until I saw it's cluster bomber.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alright, so, in the meantime, looks like we're finally... Okay, so D520's coming in.
Yeah,
right after the Spitfire, not a whole lot's gonna happen. The Bazooka team is still hanging in there, so my eyes are almost glued to this north. It's just gonna be bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear. There's nobody here, right? No.
Nope.
3, 2, 1, and shoot.
Shoot. He's waiting for it to get really close. He doesn't wanna bugger up the shot.
Well, there was a fresh POS tank that got brought on in, and he has now perished. Courtesy of another A3 upgun. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be... Okay, if you have to put the bazooka into the tank to kill it... Weapons jammed.
Yeah, there we go.
And he died.
That was worth it. That was worth it. And that's a huge kill, and we've got 76 two 76 Shermans up north, so I think Solo's going to have a pretty good chance of holding off this push from Loli.
You are probably not wrong there. Recon Panther is back in the fray, and 17 Pounder's not going after the right target. Half-track instead being engaged. Well, and that target's gone now. And the Focke-Wulf's not even going to make it back out. Ooh, jeez. It does not seem to matter what branch of the armed services you work for the Wehrmacht. Things just seem to be going rather poorly.
Yeah, it's everyone's dying, you know. Everyone's getting blown up. Yeah, we got more Panthers being brought in, of course. And to be fair, Gillmore's actually doing a pretty good job of taking ground back in the middle. You know, it has taken him a long time, and the Allies in general, Team Bump, I should say, have a huge point advantage.
They sure do. And the Recon Panther goes down. Thank you, 17 Pounder.
Yeah.
The second Panther comes back into the north. So you're right to note about the 76 upguns.
Mm-hmm.
But the 76 upguns could be taken out by the Bavaroans, moving on closer and closer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's 100 meters, so you get insanely close. But that crossroads is just on the other side, I would say, of 100 meters.
Yeah, just about, I'd say, yeah. Just about. Down south, yo, the push is going rather well. Like I said, the southern side is pretty ready to be exploited. Yo, I don't think that Panther going around the corner is going to be a good idea. It's going to get in range of the motor rifles. And that Sherman's, yeah.
That was absurd.
Yeah. Typhoon.
and the P4 died, courtesy of the Firefly. Oh, yay. Even the Ogpans are coming on, and Gillmore's girlfriend's kind of like, I'm sorry, Loli, we might need to break up.
Yeah. We also got the OP Sherman in the middle, taking some fire and returning some fire as well, but not exactly the best position for just a machine gun Sherman. Oh, no, mate, I thought it was a Flak 88, goddamn.
That's the M36 now.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna be fine. You know, he doesn't need stabilizers to deal with that.
Nope. In fact, they're trying to bring a Panzer in so that way to kind of back it off. And while I think we missed a couple of the artillery strikes, you can pretty much fill in the blanks here.
Mm-hmm.
The Panzer looks like he was getting a little bit of fun times in here. Yep, he's got the motorized rifle, so some nice micro here and there from the Germans. It's just unfortunately on the grand strategic scale, they just didn't mass appropriately. And we're getting more and more Fireflies, more and more half-tracks, more and more infantry. It's just too much stuff. Oh, at least to the north of Panther D kind of says, ah, this is your commanders? I'm going to kill them now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just really feel, just looking on the map, the Axis barely have anything on the field compared to the Allies. They just do not have momentum. And up north, that pamphlet is going to get bombed by the heavy P-38.
And here comes the upgun. Fast move! Fast move! And this is the swan song for the Panther.
He goes, he shoots, and he bounces, because 76. And Allied air superiority. Getting a superiority in the air.
The D-520's dying? Big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Another cluster bomb run, going right across the center here. Very interesting decision.
And you get a copy of ST2, and you get a copy of ST2. and you, and you, and you.
It's aggressive marketing campaigns. It's an aggressive marketing campaign.
Imagine, because the ST2 is like butterfly bombs, right? Imagine they just drop like a bunch of butterfly bombs across like a town, but it's like copies of ST2 inside instead of, you know, actually blowing up and killing people.
Isn't that what they did with, you know, when the last Zelda came out? Isn't that what they did?
What did they do?
Didn't they do it for the last Zelda game? You know, just start chucking copies of the game out of an airplane sometime?
I've never heard of that, but I'm not surprised. It sounds like something Japan would do. Or Nintendo.
Well, yeah, Kojima. Kojima is my king. Kojima is my king. Our way to the north. So we have ourselves a bit of a Saving Private Ryan moment.
Blowing up town by himself, but yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be a complete wipe here.
Yep, the Allies are going to get a points victory. Surprise, surprise, it seems, unless Gillmore's Lolis end up hitting the big E button.
No, I think it's going to be a victory. Oh no, I guess it's going to be... there's the +3. Yeah, it's going to be a victory.
Yep.
But you know what? That's kind of nice. It's nice to see someone playing it the entire way out. They got to know that the odds are not in their favor. So...
Yeah, and just really good play from Team Bump. They pretty much exploiting that middle flank, and then the solo exploiting up north. Pretty much secured in the victory. Really two solid pushes, yeah, overall.
But them is certainly the breaks, and taking a look at the overall scores from each of the team members. Yep, Emma Stone was #1 on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Gilmore's Girlfriend was just not able to match up well against that.
Nope. Not one bit. And looking at the kills, nothing really too crazy from second front. It's a pretty spread out affair. And losses, nothing either. As I'm looking at history real fast, it's pretty back and forth, most of the history, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree.
There's one instance from like 16 to 17 where the Allies lose a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few other for Axis. But yeah, apart from that, pretty standard match.
Indeed. So congratulations to the Bump. And unfortunately, Gilmore's Loli, or Loli's Gilmore, whatever that kid's supposed to be, not quite getting what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's okay, because they have another front to open up, and the second front's always going to be the thing that really kind of gets those allies back where they should be.
Yeah, you know, that Eastern Front was, you know, pretty important. It was the big stay of the whole event.
Exactly. As much as I'd like to pretend otherwise, the Eastern Front was where all the action ended up.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to having that happen. But what are we looking at the Thursday? It was another 2v2, I think, isn't it?
Yep, RKKA versus Warsaw Pact.
So, folks, come on back for that, but because for right now, I think it's time for Rang and me to say goodbye. So, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.